Okay, I'm gonna move that. Sorry. It is almost 10 o'clock on August 10th, Sunday, Mountain Standard Time, and I wanted to upload this video, another historical, educational background on a couple of things that is going on here. One, I would strongly recommend everyone to pay attention to what's going on in Belarus right now. I know it might seem like hyperbole or something, but the president of Belarus is not accepting the election results, and the people and the police are in the streets. So I would strongly recommend everybody pay close attention to whatever the fuck's going to happen or happening in Belarus, right? The background music is Thelonious Monk. I forgot which album I'm listening to, but it's got like 15 or 18 recordings, so we're good. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was that I don't know if you guys saw it. Today is Meet the Press. Meet the Press has declined so much. It used to be kind of good when Tim Russert was on there, except when he let his Catholic side show, like when Clinton and Monica Lewinsky's scandal blew. Dude, that guy could not get Clinton's jock off his mind. He just wouldn't let that shit go. He was worse than Monica. Anyway, but Tim Russert, he was actually pretty decent, right? But this fucknut, Chuck Todd, he's a complete, just utter waste. You gotta wonder, man, he's gotta have some pictures of some executives in some fucked up situations. Like, he must be Epsteining them, man. Because I looked into it. Chuck Todd is not a college graduate. Chuck Todd dropped out of college as an art history major or some shit, and he's the political director of NBC. Let me tell you something. You know Rachel Maddow? I'm sure a lot of you watch Rachel Maddow. I hope you watch Rachel Maddow, man. You should. Rachel Maddow has a doctorate from Oxford in political science. Rachel Maddow has a PhD from Oxford. She is Dr. Rachel Maddow from Oxford with a doctorate in political science. So Rachel knows what the fuck she's talking about. So when you watch her show and she digs into some shit like she's like that dude from Jurassic Park. I think Jurassic Park's playing on Netflix. I can hear it from my neighbor. Anyway, but you know, like that dude in Jurassic Park, he's like digging into shit, fucking... she's like that, man. That's why she's like that. But anyway, so they got the execrable fucking Chuck Todd on and the fucking sociopathic Peter Navarro on. And Peter Navarro makes this claim that executive orders are from God and the Founding Fathers. Now, this might just be another tossed off, just crazy ass alternative fact shit. But with the shit that's been coming out in the last couple of weeks, I don't think so, man. Right? The New York Times just did a thing. They dropped something today. It's like 3 pages on the motherfucker, right? They went to Iowa and talked to the evangelical Christians and asked them, why the fuck are you still supporting this dipshit, man? You know he's not a moral man. You know he's not. And they're like, yeah, we know. But if we don't support him, white Christians are going to lose their space. They're going to lose their whatever the fuck, right? White Christians are going to lose their position. They understand that shit. They might tell you they don't know what the fuck white privilege is, but these motherfuckers know exactly what the fuck white privilege is. Trust and believe that shit, right? So anyway, you can read it, man. It's an expose. It's actually pretty good. You should read it. New York Times is not something I would recommend because a couple of days ago, Maureen Dowd from the New York Times put out a tweet or a statement or some media blitz about some dumbass deal that she's putting out saying that it hasn't been since Geraldine Ferraro that a woman was on a presidential ticket. It hasn't been since Geraldine Ferraro. Bitch, did you forget about Sarah Palin? Like, it's Sarah Palin saved Saturday Night Live, man. Or your friend Hillary Clinton. I thought she was your friend. Anyway, rich, powerful white women. You know, there used to be a joke when I was growing up. It went something like this, right? It's like, where I was growing up, it's like, man, I want to be like Michael Jackson. I was born a poor brown child, but I want to die a rich white woman. Anyway. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. I hope you and Prince are making great music wherever the fuck you are. Anyway, getting back to Peter Navarro saying that in the New York Times, having that piece out about the evangelicals, and also having Bill Barr. I don't know if you've noticed, but Bill Barr has made some very fucked up statements about what he considers the rightful place of Christians in America and an American justice system. I wanted to remind you guys of something. Do you guys remember when Cheeto Hitler said, I could stand right outside in Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and I wouldn't lose any supporters? Do you know where he said that shit? He said that shit in a fucking church with organ pipes in the background. Look the shit up. Look the shit up. Look it up. Look up, Donald Trump claims he can stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone. And if they have the video, you will see the pipe organs in the fucking background. Seriously, you'll see the pipe organs in the fucking background. He's at a goddamn church. The evangelicals knew what the fuck he was talking about then. He was talking about, you've lost so much, white Christians, you'll be back in power. He literally tells them that shit. Right? That's the bargain he makes with them then. Right? And it's not the first time this shit has happened, not just with his ass, but I wanted to speak to you in a historical context, right? In America, there has been, right, violence with white, I'm just going to say white Christians, since the beginning. I mean, fuck slavery and all that shit. Let me let you in on a little something else, right? Right around the time that Joseph Smith was, running his little con game about the gold plates, right? You should really watch. After this, go type in South Park, the story of Mormonism, and watch the entire thing. They got that shit down pat. Everything in that little video that South Park put together, that's what the fucking Mormons believe. That ain't no bullshit. That's for real, right? With dum da dum 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 dum, that motherfucking one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's fucking hilarious. They're serious. They got that shit correct, right? Anyway, right around the time that motherfucker was pulling his con off in upstate New York, in around where Staten Island is now, right? Right around where Staten Island is now, where Staten Island is now, there was this I guess you can call them, they didn't call themselves evangelicals back then. They called themselves something else. I forgot what the fuck they called them. But there was this guy right around Staten Island who claimed that by reading the Bible, do you guys remember every couple of years, right around the year 2000, motherfuckers were claiming that the world was going to end? Do you remember that shit? I think it was like, fuck, man, 2004, 2005, 2006, shit like that. People were claiming that the fucking world was going to end, right? All that shit started because there's no, I do not believe in the Bible. I do not accept Jesus Christ. I deny the Holy Ghost. Fuck all that dumb shit. But there's nothing in the Bible that tells you a date. And it is not known. You will not know whatever if you believe in that shit, right? But these motherfuckers in what is now Staten Island claim to have, read the Bible through some chicken bones, his shit smelled different in the morning. I don't know what the fuck these motherfuckers believe in, right? But he claimed to know when the world was going to end. Right? Now, in that religion, in Christianity itself, there's some funny, fucked up stories about people believing the world is going to end. It goes way back. Check this out. At the turn of the last millennium, in the year 99, I swear to you this is true. There's a kingdom somewhere in Scandinavia, in present-day Norway, Finland, Denmark, some fucking where, around that area, that in the year 99 on New Year's Eve, right before the year turned, the king of that little fucking island province, whatever the fuck it is, by royal decree said, the whole fucking place, I've now accepted Jesus Christ, y'all motherfuckers Christian too. That's how fucked up people get about this shit, right? I had a neighbor in Texas who's was it his mother or his mother-in-law? I don't remember, man, because I haven't talked to him in a while. But either his mother-in-law or his mother sold all her shit and moved to fucking Israel at the turn of the last millennium, right? The turn of the last century, right? In 1998, I think. She's been in Israel all this time. She went through the whole process because around that time, believe it or not, evangelicals from 1997 to about 1999 through, I forgot what church she was through, but if it was one of those churches that regularly sent money to Israel, right? To help them like kick the Palestinians out or do whatever the fuck they want, or buy some more fucking Uzis or whatever the fuck, right? They had like this special thing where you could immigrate to Israel, and with the church saying why you're coming there because of the fucking, you think the Messiah's coming and some shit, and they'll grant you like a green card. It isn't exactly a citizenship, but it's something that allows you to stay in the country, says you're there, you know, legally and shit, right? She took advantage of that shit. She got a house, I forgot where, not Hebron, I forgot where the fuck it is, but she got a goddamn house, and she's living in she's been, I hope she's still alive, because I don't want to wish death on anyone, but it would just be fucking hilarious that it's 2020 and she's still fucking there. I could have been in America all this goddamn time. Anyway, fuck all the dumb shit. But around this time, man, in upstate New York, around where Staten Island, well, not upstate New York, in Staten Island, these guys came out and they said that they knew when the world was going to end. They were called millenarians, right? Millenarians, that's what they were called. And these motherfuckers actually got, I think, about 300 people. No shit. 300 people to show up on like some field somewhere near Staten Island. And this asshole set up a tent and said, you know, the world is going to end at 3 p.m. whenever the fuck. And these dumb motherfuckers stayed out there and waited for that shit. Like, I mean, you know, nothing obviously happened. But from that thing branched out this idea that the world is going to end, right? This whole rapture thing, because none of that shit is really theologically sound. There's really no theological basis for half of the shit these motherfuckers believe, man. Right? There's really not. Okay? And these dominionists, these new millenarianists, I don't know how the fuck you'd say the plural of this shit. So please forgive me if I'm fucking up the names or the pronunciations, because I don't know how to say it. I don't know if there is, right? But these guys, they are now in a position that if the shit goes left, along with the alt-right, along with the white supremacists, they could be goaded into doing some shit, man. And they've been getting a lot of dog whistles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Trump's out here talking about Biden's going to do something to the Bible and fight God. Biden's going to fight God? I mean, can he ask someone else to step in? Throw Mike Tyson in that motherfucker. He'll bite God's ear off. Fuck it. Right? Anyway, the shit is retarded, right? You laugh at it. You laugh at it. But that's the thing, dude. It's underground. It's underground. Do you understand? There's a story and then there's another story. Right? It's wheels within wheels and shit. And these motherfuckers are being told that Donald Trump, because look at how these motherfuckers, I told you before, look at how these motherfuckers are acting. They are not acting like, they are not acting like they have a reasonable chance to lose. They're not. They're not, right? Mike Pompeo just blew off another fucking subpoena for 3 of his people. A subpoena, right? Think about that shit. If you got a subpoena, or anybody you knew got a subpoena, or before this time got a subpoena, you'd be like, oh, damn, you better show up, man. Now motherfuckers blowing that shit off left and right. Right? And I mean, I want you to understand, man, that these white evangelicals, right? They are fully prepared to allow Trump and his people to turn this country into a place where institutions and structures will not hold, right? I would strongly recommend that you read a book called Democracy in Chains. And it's talking about the Koch brothers and their attempts to change legislation state by state. They have a thing called the ALEC group, A-L-E-C, something Legal Exchange Committee or something, American Legal Exchange Committee, some shit, right? But it was Alec and another group that convinced the Michigan legislature to appoint city managers instead of allowing democratically elected people that caused the Flint water crisis. You understand what I'm saying? It's Alec that allows communities like Syracuse, New York, and other areas, Trenton, New Jersey. See, the thing that works out like this, man, when they start talking about democratic cities and Baltimore and Chicago and all that shit, there are other little things that are going on, right? Baltimore and that city in New Jersey, right? The police that work there, they're not required to live in the city. They're not required to live in the city. So a police officer that's working in the city, they live out in the fucking suburbs. I'm just going to use Houston, for example, because Houston is a city that I've spent 30 years of my life in, right? Houston, if a Houston police officer lives in Houston works in Houston and then lives in, let's say, fucking Katy. Let's say Katy. Hell, man, 30 years ago, Katy had a 2-lane road getting out there. It was a pain in the ass to go out to Katy. It was, you saw Fry Road going on I-10, you'd be like, God damn, I got another fucking 40 minutes to get to Katy. It's a bitch, right? It's a 6-lane highway now. There's a reason why the roads in Katy are fucking paved to fuck and all that shit, right? The municipal workers, the city workers, the police and shit, everybody else that can, move out to Katy. So when the police and the municipal workers, when they take their car to get it serviced, they ain't driving the fuck back to Houston. A Jiffy Lube has to open up in Katy. When they want molding done in their house, when they want tile put down or parquet floor put down, or if they want some shit done there, they got to call people who are already out there. So those communities are living off of the police officers that come back into Houston and put in 80-hour times. And then when those police officers have their pensions, they go back out to Katy, right? Or when the police officers commit a crime and kill someone, right? The payout comes from the tax base from the city of Houston. That cop's pension isn't fucking hurt at all, right? I mean, we're all reading about the incredible pension that Chauvin is going to get after murdering George Floyd, man. It's fucking ridiculous, right? But anyway, these so-called Christians, right? Fuck it, call them Christians, man. You know, these guys, they have been thinking for a really long time that America is this city on the hill, shining city on the hill, right? Reagan first put that phrase, I think it was Reagan that first put that phrase out. It's from Winthorpe. You guys ever seen Trading Spaces with Eddie Murphy? The guy, he takes all this shit is named Winthorpe, right? No relation. But this guy Winthorpe, who was actually writing this while he's on the fucking Mayflower. He wrote this shit on the Mayflower. As he's coming to Plymouth, he's writing this and he says, America is a city on the hill. He just says city on the hill. Ronald Reagan turns it into a shining city on the hill. And Republicans and conservatives have been calling it shining city on the hill ever since. Shining city on the hill also represents a certain thing to Christians, right? American Christians, right? American Christians believe that shining city on the hill is America, right? And it's shining because a whole bunch of white people in that motherfucker. Right? It's kind of like watching science fiction of the 70s and 60s. There are no black people in the future. Right? There are no brown people, no people look like me or you or anybody else watching this video, right? And these people are completely okay with destroying the country, right? To put it in a biblical perspective, think of it this way. These Bible-thumping Christians are the other mother in that story about Solomon. You know, Solomon and the baby, right? Mother claims this bitch stole her baby. They are both in front of Solomon, and Solomon says, cut the baby in half. And the real mother's like, no, please don't cut my baby. And the other one's like, fuck it, cut that bitch. White evangelical Christians in America, they're the other mother. They're the mother that says, fuck it, cut the baby. Right? Because their fear of what their children and what they will experience in an America that is not completely centered on their well-being, it scares the fuck out of them. It really should scare the fuck out of them, because the majority of them are mediocre, right? Like Chuck Todd on Meet the Press, man. The majority of them are mediocre. They're not to be in the position they're in. I don't know why they're in the position they're in, but they're in the position. They're like, there's an old saying in Texas, it's called a post turtle. You're driving down the fucking highways in Texas and you find this fucking post with a turtle on top of it. You don't know how the fucking turtle got there. The turtle doesn't know how it fucking got there. And it would really appreciate it if you get him off the fucking post. That's white people like Chuck Todd, right? And they are completely oblivious to it, right? Because when they go to their churches and when they pray to their religion, the concept of a white everything, a white heaven, right? That's natural as anything to them, right? But you have to understand the thought process that they actually believe in. You understand? And they have to be watched carefully. Also, you know, the NRA, you gotta love the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, man. She is a badass, dude. She's gonna dissolve the NRA. She's gonna fucking dissolve them. Anybody that tells you that the NRA could just up and move to New York, from New York to Texas, doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. The NRA was chartered in New York and Washington, D.C. That's where their headquarters are. They might be located in Virginia or wherever the fuck there is, but they're chartered in New York. They were chartered in New York. I forgot when the fuck they were chartered, but they're chartered in New York. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. If they want to change the name NRA and have a yard sale and come down to Texas, sure, they can do that shit. But they are not taking any NRA shit any fucking where. Right? It's funny as fuck. Anyway, watch out for the people that walk around here with a lot of NRA shit on. If your asshole neighbor who had NRA sticker with truck nuts on his F-150 or 1500 or whatever the fuck he's driving, if there's more NRA shit on there, watch out for that. These imbeciles actually believe that because the NRA is getting shut down, it's an attack on the Second Amendment. I swear to God, man, conservatives do not understand the First or the Second Amendment, right? Like, if Tucker Carlson's show gets canceled, that is not a First Amendment issue, right? For example, if Tucker Carlson's show gets canceled, or if Rachel Maddow's show gets canceled, that's not a First Amendment issue. That really isn't. The First Amendment says that the government can't tell you what the fuck to say. Okay? Now, if Trump says Rachel Maddow needs to be taken off the air and Rachel Maddow's taken off the air, that might be a fucking problem. But, like, Chuck Todd is a fucking execrable piece of shit, and he should never be allowed on airwaves ever again. Because he's a piece of shit and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, is different than the government saying Rachel Maddow, right? Actual First Amendment issues is when, I hate to say this because Bill Maher is a libertarian dick, but after the Gulf War, when Bill Maher said that the soldiers are lobbing missiles, they're not really facing firearms, you know, like the 81st Airborne and the 82nd Airborne and the 101st when they freed, you know, Auschwitz and Dachau and Baden-Baden. He used to have a show called Politically Correct, and he lost his show. This Real Time with Bill Maher, HBO picked him up after that shit, after he lost his fucking show, right? So he's the only one I know that lost his job because of the Iraq War fuck up that Bush the Dumber did. He's the only one I know. Him and the Dixie Chicks. Or the Chicks now. Are they called the Chicks now? Or I don't know what the fuck they're called. They're the only ones that had suffered anything because of the fuck up. 4,800 dead American soldiers. Over 150,000 of them either lost an arm, a leg, both arms or both legs, or paralyzed, or have some kind of fucked up shit. And then there's the burn pits, the people that are having sicknesses that are equivalent to the 911 disease for the first responders, right? They don't give a fuck about all that shit. Anyway, these evangelical Christians, man, be careful. Combined with these gun nuts, Trump is ginning them up for some shit. Please go check out what's happening in Belarus right now, and just like the NFAC has been saying, if you don't have a firearm already, please go get one. At the very least, go get a shotgun. 12 gauge preferably, right? If the best you can find at Dick's doesn't sell them anymore, Walmart doesn't sell them anymore, if the best you can find at your local pawn shop is one of them fucking hunting rifles, get it. Get it. A 30-06, get it. Right? Something shooting a 45-70 Kessel, get it. I promise you that shit will knock a man down within 20 yards. It'll hit with a fucking freight train, man. It'll hit really fast. So get it. Don't worry about it. Even if it's a bolt action, get something. Because if the shit goes left, you might need it. And it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's kind of like a condom, right? But anyway, please look into that millenarianism stuff. Please look into Democracy in Chains and Masha Gessen about authoritarianism. And keep an eye on them NRA assholes around you, right? Y'all be safe out there. Peace.